Need my glasses. All right. Yeah, it's never a good thing when pretty damn good. Okay. 16 minutes. Or 17. Okay, we're on. I want to guess it's going to work fine. Beautiful. Yeah. And if you look at all of the positions that right now they're hunting down, all these kind of like semi-amateurs, people that had zero experience either in government or in this particular field, people with that had nothing to do with Washington ever, all of a sudden we're now in charge.
Right.
You got to go hunt them down and get them out of there because they're just monkeying around. And first of all, it upsets the people that are working there 20 years, you know, that have got a world of knowledge, and then there's like some dude that shows up.
Good point. Because one thing she was saying was, she said, you know, she always wanted to be, you know, not political in her job.
Right.
She is a scientist, doesn't feel like that's proper.
Right.
And she said it's very dangerous if, because the host said, you've done this in your career. You're going to be associated with Donald Trump from now on.
Yeah.
She's like, that's unfortunate because as soon as people that are scientists become politicized, that can be very dangerous for the country.
Right.
Because all you need in the scientist is the best scientist in the position possible, you know?
Yeah.
You don't need this, like, wondering if they have an agenda.
Right, like you're secretly lying to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no good.
I thought she was great from the, you know, first time I saw her giving, like, briefings and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
she was calm.
Yep.
Her choice of words, I thought, were very rich, very, articulate is not the word. I'm very telling, very. It was easy for her to convey things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Some home dentistry.
Yeah. Well, UF is going to have some of that too. If you look at, like right now, we got 2 presidents ago, we actually had like a very powerful sort of president that sort of helped create policy. And I think that the Board of Regents, which sort of, you know, you have the legislature, Board of Regents, and they're trying to show somebody who's a little bit more of a figurehead, but it kind of takes, you know, they can call them up and say, don't do this.
Yeah.
So you no longer have, now it becomes sort of more of an extension of the state's mood.
Right.
And so, you know, they chose him, and they probably make it clear to him, like, hey, don't get any ideas of your own.
Right.
We'll tell you whether we have in-person classes or not.
Right.
Like, we'll tell you,
Yeah.
even though you're the president of the university, we'll tell you where to draw the line.
Right.
And then he just plays along because that's where he gets his salary. And he probably make it clear to him, like, look, if you're not, because they basically did not renew his contract on purpose. And it wasn't until, like, actually his normal term would have ended last summer. And they probably waited until the last moment just to put him on a little bit on the edge, like, hey, I might not get renewed. Because they, you know, not renewed, not sign up again. Until the last moment, just to make sure he falls in line.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's all politics.
That little snout, though, you see, the little white snout does look familiar. Look at those
I
fingernails.
was just
Holy
noticing that. Wow.
Well, somebody's going to know what kind of animals they are. So Ghana had just was just being sort of like turned over from a colony into like a independent state kind of thing. So I think these are all remnants of the British Empire. Let me just read up on that. Like this. So they, in the early 60s, it was a republic. They followed the Soviet model of expanding state services. And the guy in charge, Nkrumah, believed that rapid modernization of industries and communications was necessary, that it could be achieved if the workforce was completely Africanized and educated. So in other words, lots of secondary schools became a high priority, expansion of vocational programs in higher education. So he went the education way. Huh. So this guy that was in charge for 6 years, he said Africa must unite. Sort of a neo-colonialism concept. We call it Pan-Africanist movement. He attended the University of Manchester. So this government was the first black African nation to win independence. That's interesting. Perfect. So he levied relatively heavy taxes. He imposed taxes for the first time that people like in the field who had a small farm. And not everybody was happy. So he had a forced savings program. So you automatically, from your income was automatically saved. You didn't have a choice. That's interesting. Very interesting.
This is kind of funny. People talk about how, Donald Trump will be back in the White House. Some people think that, So this White House hires a new maid.
I love it. I love it. Well, they were following. There's kind of a British guy, and he does sort of independent TV type thing. But he was following people, up until the inauguration on this single theme, like what do you think is going to happen? Is Trump in the last moment? Is Biden going to be arrested? And he was following their reactions, so he's gauging the sort of the believers, let's say, whatever. I think just before he gets inaugurated, the scandal, because apparently there's some kind of scandal that is lurking to be revealed, and then anyway, and then after like Biden is sort of like the next day or something, he re-interviews those people, and then I couldn't believe it, and maybe I've been believing, reflecting on themselves real time, like what happened. I can't.
Yeah, I see some videos of these like QAnon people.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, it's dawning on them that they were duped by just some shadowy figure on the internet. It's just fucking with people.
Yeah.
And now it's so strange to see these videos of them, they're taking, recording themselves.
Yeah.
It's like it's just dawning on them that it was all bullshit.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate seeing those videos. It struck me as it was strange.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was surreal to watch that.
Like this guy here, this is a guy that he's a painter. He's an artist in New Orleans. I met him in New Orleans, so I started following his stuff.
Right.
After a while, I say, oh, he's a religious guy. That's fine. But then over these past 4 years, he's become this insane. He's one of these people who thinks Trump was anointed by God. Right?
By God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't commented on his stuff because I'm just so fascinated by it.
I would not.
It's almost like, he's not my enemy, but you know how they say in The Godfather, keep your friends close but your enemies closer,
Yeah.
It's kind of that thing. I want to peek into this madness, this world.
You know this guy?
I barely know. I met him in New Orleans.
Yeah.
He's a painter.
Yeah.
So just some of the stuff he says, I'll have to find a good one to read to you. But it's just out there.
Yeah.
It's just... And then everybody comments is like, amen, this, and they agree with him. Like, wow, there's an entire big community of wackos.
Yeah.
And they're angry.
Right, they've been duped for one.
Yeah.
They were promised one thing and something else happened.
He's still a believer, though. He's like,
He's coming back.
Trump's
Second coming.
Back. We don't know how, but it's going to happen.
Yeah. It's fascinating because I think underneath, like, for example, so there's a poll. I watched it because it was Dutch news, but and 10% of the people in Holland preferred Trump as well.
Wow.
10%.
Wow.
Well, almost irregardless of the number. It's like, where do they get their information from?
Yeah.
What makes them so excited about, and the 10% does think it is rigged. So even, this concept exists elsewhere as well. And so, and it could be that there's just a large proportion of modern society, no matter what continent you're on. Ooh, I'm gonna mess with that thing. We had a trick for that. That little round dial.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, you got it back.
That's go a long way. That's weird.
See, you have to go dial it down, or vertically.
It starts doing the jittering thing again. I can't get rid of it.
So it's just off by a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's better to leave it like this.
Okay, then we leave it like this. I wonder if through the heat, the little frame that it runs through, remember, like heats up enough?
Well, it happened, I think, at a point where the film was spliced. So it's something
maybe
like,
the splice got loose, or it like moved an inch, or whatever.
I don't know. Can't really get rid of it. We can redo this one if you want when you get a full charge on it.
This will be fine.
Almost over now.
Well, anyway, it is possible that just in the human makeup, whether it's this century or 5 centuries ago, there's a sort of a similar distribution of people that look at the as sort of like as the government is a mysterious thing and oppressive, and they believe in conspiracies no matter whether they're in in South America or they're growing up in Africa. It doesn't matter where they are. They just think there's something's going on.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the human. I don't know, the human mix of.
Well.
So it's not unique to this country or this time.
Right.
You know? Okay, this is perfect.